Have you ever wondered why some teams thrive while others struggle, even when they have similar resources and talent? The reason often lies in something you can't see or touch. It's called psychological safety. Imagine working in an environment where you feel completely safe to speak your mind, to share bold ideas, or admit mistakes without the fear of judgment. It's not just a dream, it's a real science-backed phenomenon. This phenomenon is transforming teams and organizations everywhere. And here's the kicker. The way that our brains are wired makes psychological safety not just important, but essential for peak performance. Psychological safety is a shared belief within a team that it's safe to take interpersonal risks, to speak up, to share ideas, admit mistakes, and ask for help without the fear of ridicule, rejection, and punishment. It's not about everyone feeling comfortable all the time or being nice to each other. Instead, it's about creating an environment where people feel safe enough to be vulnerable and to challenge ideas and to innovate. So this concept was popularized by Harvard professor Dr. Amy Edmondson and is supported by neuroscience studies. When people feel unsafe at work, even psychologically unsafe, their brains activate the amygdala, which creates this automatic response, often referred to as fight or flight. Essentially, it puts a person in survival mode and shuts down the part of the brain responsible for creativity, problem solving, and the willingness to collaborate. On the other hand, when people feel psychologically safe, the brain shifts away from this threat mode and threat response. And the prefrontal cortex then ignites. And this is the part of the brain that's responsible for higher order thinking, decision making, and innovation, and it becomes more active. This shift is largely due to neurochemical changes in the brain. When people feel safe, oxytocin levels rise. And oxytocin is sometimes called the trust hormone or the bonding hormone because it builds connection and it reduces the stress hormone cortisol. So psychological safety isn't just a concept. It's a measurable brain state. So now that we understand the science, let's talk about why it matters. When teams experience high levels of psychological safety, amazing things happen. First, improved collaboration occurs. People share ideas and solutions more freely. They're not worried about being judged or shut down. Secondly, greater innovation occurs. A safe space encourages risk-taking and creative problem solving. And that's where innovation thrives. Third, higher engagement happens. Employees who feel safe are more engaged and invested in their work. They feel valued. Fourth, stronger performance. Studies show that teams with high psychological safety outperform their peers consistently. And five, faster learning occurs. People learn from mistakes and adapt quickly when it's safe to discuss what went wrong. So, psychological safety is a catalyst for peak performance. And if you are a leader, building psychological safety within your team can quickly boost performance and engagement and motivation. So here are 3 strategies that are backed by neuroscience and real world results to help you build psychological safety. So the first strategy is to encourage open dialogue. Leaders must model openness by inviting feedback and then demonstrating vulnerability. So share your own mistakes or what you've learned, what you did wrong and how you've learned from it. And when you do this, you're showing your team that it's okay to be imperfect. This reduces the fear of failure and encourages everyone to share ideas without hesitation and without fear. Remember, vulnerability from the leader done appropriately is one of the fastest ways to foster trust. Strategy number 2 is recognize and validate contributions. Acknowledgement triggers dopamine in the brain, and when you recognize someone's input, no matter how small it is, it reinforces that their voice matters. Saying things like, "That's an interesting idea," or "I hadn't thought of that. Thank you for sharing." This helps people feel seen and appreciated, which then strengthens their confidence to contribute more in the future. The third strategy is to establish a learning culture. Create a culture where mistakes are viewed as opportunities for learning. When someone makes an error, avoid blame. Instead, ask, "What can we learn from this situation?" This shifts the focus from fear to growth. It also rewires the brain over time, and people begin to see challenges and setbacks as a part of the journey rather than threats to avoid. Okay, so let's recap all of this very quickly. Psychological safety is the belief that it's safe to take risks and to be vulnerable at work. And neuroscience shows that it's essential for reducing fear and stress and unlocking the brain's full capacity for creativity, collaboration, and performance. Now, there are a lot of good benefits that I shared with you before. These are the benefits that can create a place where people want to work and engage and give their best. And you can build this as a leader by doing three things or three strategies: encouraging open dialogue, recognizing and validating contributions, and then finally establishing a learning culture.